Sahanavavatu Sahanau bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma vidvishavahai. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Namaste. Good morning, good afternoon. So we are in the final session of chapter 6. We covered all the verses last week. And today we are going to do a quick recap of the entire chapter 6. And that covers the first major topic, or the 1/3 of the Bhagavad Gita. Next week onwards, we can start chapter 7. So this chapter, we will do a quick recap, and at the end, I would request Anu to do a chanting of the entire chapter so that we all can listen to that chanting also. So this chapter is known as Dhyana Yoga or Atma Samyama Yoga. The topic of this chapter is meditation. And essentially, this chapter has 6 topics.
Okay. Yeah, I need to go through this in very detail.
Okay. No worries. 6 topics we have to cover in this chapter. And this chapter, as I said, this is one of the best chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Forget about Bhagavad Gita. In our scriptural literature, forget scriptural literature, anywhere else, this is one place that defines meditation very properly, very scientifically. We went through the verses in detail. We went through the process of meditation, all those steps in detail. And today, what I'm going to do is a quick recap. Anybody has any questions, please talk to me offline, or maybe after the session when we have the Q&A, we can discuss that. So meditation is such an important practice in our Sanatana Dharma or the Vedantic tradition. But a lot of people think that meditation is a direct means for moksha or self-realization. According to Advaita Vedanta, meditation facilitates the moksha, but meditation is not a direct means for moksha. That is what we saw in the first class. Also, a lot of people think that meditation is good for mystical experience. While we do not negate that, but if you stick to that mystical experience as the goal of meditation, we cannot make the real progress we need with meditation. So what is the role of meditation? This chapter, we have seen 2 types of major meditation. First stage is for the beginners of the Vedantic practices. And the second type of meditation is for the matured Vedantic seekers who has studied Vedanta in particular. So the first type of meditation practice is known as upasana. Upasana. The goal of the upasana is to gain control or stability of my mind. Because even if means the mind is the best tool given to any one of us in our life, and if you want to make use of that mind or the tool, better we need to have control over it. If you are given the best car in the world, and if you don't know how to drive, if you don't have full control, only 30% of the time I get control over the wheel. And if you drive that car, I don't have to explain to you. what is going to happen? That is true for any instruments you use. If you don't know how to control that instrument, and that instrument, you cannot make the best out of it. So if mind is considered as the best instrument you have, better learn to have control over it. So that is the purpose of the upasana. And the second goal of the meditation is, once you gain the control over the mind, once you gain the purity over the mind, once you have studied the Vedanta through Shravana and Manana, you got the jnana, but that jnana is, you don't have the jnana nishta, meaning that jnana is not resonating in your behavior or action. It's not, you cannot express that knowledge 24/7. So how to reinforce that knowledge you gained through Shravana and Manana? We use a meditation technique, which is known as Vedantic meditation in English, and in Sanskrit it is known as Nididhyasana. So these are the two types of meditation. This chapter has 6 topics. The first, Krishna talks about the general practice, because meditation will, you cannot progress in meditation if you don't follow a yogic lifestyle, a lifestyle that is conducive for meditation. The meditation will not be beneficial. So the first topic is what lifestyle I should be following. What are all the generic practices I should be following for me to make progress in the path of meditation? So that is known as Behiranga Sadhana, or general practices of meditation. The second topic is known as Antaranga Sadhana, or the special practices or the preparation for meditation. While I'm going to meditate, what steps I need to follow? That is known as the preparation, or the Antaranga Sadhana, or it is known as the special steps. And then, how do I meditate? What exactly is the process of meditation? That is also covered in this chapter. Then we talked about the benefits of meditation. What are the benefits of meditation? And finally, Arjuna asked what are some of the challenges he has facing. So what exactly are they? What are they? And what are some of the remedies? And finally, this chapter deviated and discussed one more topic, which is called as Yoga Sprashta. Suppose I was not able to complete the practice in this lifetime, what is going to happen? So these are the 6 topics covered in this chapter. So let's do a quick walkthrough of each one of this. We already talked about this in detail, so we will cover this quickly. So the first one is, you need to practice Karma Yoga, a generic lifestyle. If you want to progress in your spiritual path, start with Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is the first step anybody has to practice. So don't means if you come back and say, oh, I cannot progress in meditation, or I'm not able to experience the teaching I study in Vedanta, the first problem is purity of the mind. If the mind is not pure, nothing else will work. How do you purify the mind? By following Karma Yoga. So that's the first instruction. So if you want to progress in life, especially the spiritual path, forget the spiritual path, even the material path, you need to have this Karma Yoga. The Karma Yoga is the proper work with the proper attitude. It gives me a pure mind. It gives me an efficiency in action. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. Yogaha samatvam. Yogaha samadho vachala. All these wonderful definitions of yoga came from Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga is the first step. The second step is, you need to put some self-effort. Nobody can help me to progress in life if I don't put self-effort. Uttaret atmanatmanam na atmanam avasadhayet. Atmaihi atmano bandhu atmaihi ripuratmana. We heard that. I am the best friend of me if I am in control of myself. I am my worst enemy if I don't have control over myself. And I need to put some self-effort. So that's the second thing. The self-effort is extremely important. Without the self-effort, nobody can progress in life. So that is the second topic. And third one is a yogic lifestyle. What is that lifestyle? Yuktahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta sopnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. What type of lifestyle I follow? Quality of the food I eat. What quality, right? It needs to have, it has to be appropriate. Krishna don't tell like, don't eat this particular food, eat this particular food. No, he tells, meaning you have to have the right quantity of food, quality of food, appropriate to your body. That's all he tells. So that's very important. We need to identify that. Don't overeat, don't fast too much. Very important. We think that spirituality means fasting. So Krishna tells, no, appropriate eating. Very important. Quality and quantity. Remember, we talked about this in detail. This is a wonder of the wonder. 5,000 years back, people, meaning you were Hinduist, against overeating and undereating. Then what? Not just the food. Activity. You cannot live a sedentary lifestyle. You have to be active, but not overactive. Appropriate level of activity. Third, recreation. Everybody needs some recreation. Not too much, not too less. Then what? One more. Sleep. Not too much sleep, not too less sleep. This is a revolutionary verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Yuktahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta sopnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. This is the general practice we need to do. Karma yoga, self-effort, and yogic lifestyle. So that's topic number 1. And then when we go to topic number 2, what are all the preparation, which is the antaranga sadhana. This is the specific steps I need to take when I go and practice meditation. You need to find a proper place. The place is conducive for meditation, right? If it is naturally not conducive, make sure that you make it artificially conducive. One example, I told you, right? If you prefer to sit in the dining room, what happens? Even if the room is clean, still what type of thoughts comes to my mind? Food. So that's why a setup is going to help you a lot. So Krishna tells, find a nice setup. If it need not be, you don't need a big room or anything like that, but find a consistent place, sit there every day, and make sure that the ambience of the place is conducive for meditation. Second thing is a time. Try to find a common time. What is common and what is the right time? People say you need to get up at 5 o'clock and meditate. No, that's not what Krishna said. Krishna said, find a time when your mind is in the swatik mood. The word swatik might be appears as like a mystic word. So translate that into English. Tamasic mode means if the mind is dull and sleepy, that's not an ideal time for meditation. If the mind is over-aggressive, rajasic, that is not the good time. So find the mind time. At that time, mind is most conducive. And for most of the people, most of the time, this is the early morning time. But I talked about myself. I don't get early morning conducive environment. My mind will be rajasic at that time. For most of the people, it is morning. So you need to pick up that time, which is swatik. So, 8 steps are given. So the second step is the time. And the third one is seating. So means you need to have a good seat. Like Krishna gives a lot of, at that particular point of time, there was no yoga mat or anything like that. So he gives a lot of, he said like initially a deer skin, on top of that some grass, on top of a floor. So different things are given. But in modern times, you can use a yoga mat or something where your back won't be painful. So some comfortable seat. That's what seating. And then the body posture. when you sit in the meditation, better to means remember samam kaya shito grivam. Your neck, your body, and the head should be in the straight line. That is the most ideal posture. And if you are doing a yoga nidra kind of meditation, when you lie down, make sure that it is straight. That's it. So straight seat posture, and close your eyes if possible, as if closing the eyes. So gives some prechya nasikyagram. So as if you just look, as if you are looking at the tip of the nose. That's it. As if. That means dishascha anavalokan. He explains why you don't want to look around, so that it will be a disturbance. So place, time, seating, body posture, then what? Breathing. Make sure that your breathing is even, because your breath has a direct connection with the stress level. And if you make the breathing even, that would help meditation. And then what? Sensory restraint. Means we already talked about that, about the eyes. Try to make sure that the sense organs are not wandering around. So like some people does that, right? So listen to the sounds and just leave it. And sense of touch, you recognize and leave it. And try to get away from the sense outputs or sensory inputs. And then affirmation. Affirmation is very important because each one of us have hundreds of problems. And typically these problems comes to my mind when I sit on meditation. So I'm going to take a permission from my mind to get away from the entire world for the 15 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever is that time you do. So that affirmation. And then finally what? Try to withdraw the mind from all the wandering aspects and try to focus on the object of meditation. I cannot see anything better in any of the modern meditation books. So this is such a detailed, such a nice set of instruction, preparation. So this is beautiful. Only thing is that this is spread around multiple verses in multiple places. So what I did was I just collected this together. This is the preparation. So let's go to the next step. What is the actual process of meditation? So we talked about this. Withhold the mind from all the conventional thought pattern and focus the mind in the object of meditation. So just to think about this, right? So you need to think about this as 3 steps. Patanjali beautifully explains this in the Yoga Sutra, and Krishna borrows or follows exact same pattern. So after you have done all the preparation work, you are ready to sit and meditate. What is the first step you try to do? Try to keep one thought in your mind, meaning try to keep your attention on one object. So the effort you put initially to keep your mind on one object is known as dharana. And now what happens? The moment you try to focus on, we said like T1 is the thought you are trying to keep an eye on, or you wanted to keep in mind. Because whatever you see in your mind is a thought pattern. So you try to, let's say that you're trying to think about a flower, a rose flower, a lotus flower. Close your eyes and bring the image of the lotus flower. That effort is known as dharana. And what happens immediately? The lotus flowers, without my knowledge or without my permission, the mind will go from lotus flower to workplace or to a movie theater or to a restaurant. So that T1 was substituted by T3, T4, T5, T7. And the way the mind works, we talked about that. It is called associative thinking. The moment I start, means work came to my mind. Then from work, where it goes, it takes me to the party I need to attend, happy hour I need to attend after the work. From there, I go to somewhere else. It goes to a person. It goes on and on. So,
either computer table or in master bedroom.
Glass all over.
Somebody is not muted. If you're not speaking, please try to mute yourself. That way. Yeah, sorry. Okay. So, dharana. So, when the thing is that what you need to do, what is dhyanam per the definition of Krishna is when the mind move away from the chosen thought or the object of meditation, bring it back. Right? Yato yato nischarati manas chanchalam astiram tato tato niyamyet. That's it. Beautiful definition. So whenever you feel that the mind, whenever you realize that the mind.
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, मैं तो अच्छा रहूंगा, मैं तो आराम से रहूंगा कम से कम।
और मैं इसको अपने बाजू में सुला लेती हूँ, आप दोनों मिनट पे सो जाओ।
I don't know who is.
कैसे करती है फिर ये?
Sanjay, can you mute?
Sorry.
No worries. So that's the process of meditation. Whenever we realize that the mind has moved away from the chosen thought, bring it back. Yato yato nischarati manas chanchalam astiram tato tato niyamyeva. Believe me, there is no better definition on meditation, including the famous book got published yesterday. Why we meditate? It's a new book by Daniel Goleman, which gives all the scientific reasons, benefits of meditation. I couldn't read this book when I was doing this class. Go and read that book. You will see so many things we discussed in that chapter in the 2022, the book published on 2022, December 6th. One of the most authoritative book on meditation. It is a fantastic book. I had a glance, but everything is the same idea. So there is no better definition than the 5,000 years old definition. So bring the mind back. So that is meditation. So Shankaracharya in his commentary gives a beautiful explanation. What does he say? Don't worry if you sit for 20 minutes, means I'm paraphrasing, right? He didn't talk about minutes or seconds or anything like that. So if you sit for 20 minutes and if you had to bring the mind back 50 times, do you consider that as a good meditation or a bad meditation? This is exactly the question he asked. It may not be a good samadhi, but it is a fantastic meditation. Because the more you bring the mind back, tato tato niyamyetat, the more niyama you put, the more control you can exercise on your thought, what happens? The mental muscles get strengthened and you are gaining more and more concentration. So this is very different from those who studied the Bhavana Krama style. That type of meditation is slightly different. This is the Hindu style of meditation, which is slightly different on certain steps compared to Buddhist meditation, which is the Bhavana Krama. And I suggested the book also, Mind Illuminated. That is another book, fantastic book, excellent meditation techniques. But the third used here, which is followed by Krishna and Patanjali is the same, which is this concentrate, and when the mind moves away, bring it back. This is the thing. And after some time, what is going to happen is you will be able to sustain the T1 for a sufficient period of time. And that time, this dhyana turns into the next stage of samadhi. Beginning stages of samadhi. Samadhi only means absorption. The word samadhi carries a lot of unwanted meaning. And Shankaracharya in his commentary tells everybody has some samadhi skill, even now. So the beginning stages of the samadhi, which is called Savikalpa Samadhi, everybody, including each one of us, see, if I watch a movie, I get absorbed in that. No doubt. If I listen to a good song, which I love, I get absorbed. I may not even, if somebody calls me, I may not even recognize it. That doesn't mean that I'm a great meditator, but what I was saying is that some people, when they play cards, poker, they get absorbed in that. And some people plays till, means they don't remember, right? The season, meaning the rains or the day or the night, especially in the college hostel, I've seen that. That's all samadhi. But the problem is, can I extend that focused object from poker to movie to song to whatever I choose? I do have the skill of samadhi, but not with respect to every object. So this is going to give me to choose my object of meditation and gain that absorption. And then what happens? When that samadhi improves, initially what happens? You get absorbed, but still you feel separated from that object of meditation. You know that I exist and I'm seeing Lord Shiva's image. So this is called Savikalpa Samadhi. But once you advance further, you even forget about yourself. That is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi or Asamprajnata Samadhi. So these are the steps. So this is the conventional upasana. So T1, T2, T3, instead of T1, T2, T3, I make sure that through my practice, I can select the T1 I want, and also I can keep the T1 in my mind for a sufficient period of time. This is the steps given by Krishna. Now he says, what is the level 2 meditation? Level 1 meditation is, it could be an image of a flower, or it could be an image of Shiva, or it could be whatever you think, your breathing or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Once you gain this skill, once you learn about Vedanta, what is the nature of the Atma, or what is the nature of the God, higher reality, instead of choosing a separate object of meditation, choose this Atma Vichara. So that's not for most of us at this point of time. We may have to make sure that we can sufficiently keep our mind on the other objects, upasana, then only better to go there. But you can always practice. You can think about the nature of the Atma, the scriptures have given. So this is the highest form of meditation. And the purpose of upasana is chitta sthiti, whereas the purpose of nididhyasana is jnana nishta. This is very important. So this much topics are given. Beautiful verses are given. And then from there, he goes to the next topic, which is the benefits of samadhi or meditation. 7 benefits were highlighted in this chapter. The first one is the quietude of the mind, because you get a calm mind and you get a clear vision of the self, your own self. Earlier, you had only bookish knowledge, but this is going to help you to see the self properly. So that's the second one. How? Because that's what, remember the Upanishad class, we were talking about this. You want to understand the fundamental reality of the universe or the God. So we found that if you are looking for that reality in this universe, the problem is you are trying to look the cause in the effect. Of course, the cause is there in the effect, but it is not directly visible. Whatever vision you have, it will be distorted. If you remember, the example I used in the Upanishad class was, when you watch a movie, you see the character, you see the stars, you see the buildings, you see the cars, you see the road, but you may not recognize the fundamental reality which creates the car, which is essentially appearing as the person, which essentially appearing as the sky. It is the light. So my goal is to find that reality through its expression, which is very difficult. That is the time the Rishi will tell. The easiest way is, what is that common factor which is there in every expression? Remember, we said Satyam, Nityam, Sarvagatam, then what? Independent, Swatantram. These were the 4 characteristics given by Mundaka Upanishad. It is the existence in every being. In that movie, the car exists because of the light. If the power is gone, the car is gone. The table exists because of the light. The human being exists because of the light. So what is that give existence to that movie car or the movie toy or the movie room? It is the light. So like that, we say that Brahman or the absolute reality is the cause of everything. Now, how do I find it? If Brahman is, or the reality is the existence of everything, then what? That should be the cause of my own existence, observer. So who is that real observer? That is my own consciousness. Now, how do I experience my own consciousness without disturbances? First of all, I need to know where to look, what is the nature of the consciousness, everything. Then where to look. Consciousness cannot be seen because the observer can see everything else directly, but the observer. I can see everything else, but not myself directly. I need a reflecting medium. And what is that reflecting medium? My own mind. So let's say that you are looking at a mirror. If that mirror means, or a water, let's say that's a better, Swami Vivekananda's famous example, like a water in a pond. I want to see my face in that water. When I go to the water, if the water is muddy, I may look through north, east, west, and south. I may try to see me everywhere, but I cannot see myself because it is muddy. Now, if you sit and clean all the mud, still, let's say that if that water is dancing or if that water is turbulent, still I cannot see myself clearly. A dancing me will be there. So like that, my mind is the tool or the reflecting medium in which I can see the reflection of the Atma. But to facilitate that reflection properly, my mind should be pure, my mind should be clean, my mind should be calm. The role of this upasana is to make sure that that mind is calm. The role of the karma yoga is to make sure that that mind is clean. So without this karma yoga and upasana yoga, whatever Vedanta study you see, you will not see it. Whatever nididhyasanam you do, right? Let's say that you got excited today and start nididhyasanam. Unless you practiced karma yoga and upasana yoga and gain a little bit of, even if means at least you get like glimpse if you have progressed a little bit on your karma yoga and upasana yoga. Without that, you cannot. So the vision of the self is very clear because of the samadhi that facilitates it. And then what happened? You gain the highest form of contentment, because every other contentment is based on an external experience. Remember, we talked in the Upanishad class. Vishayananda. Vishayananda means when I get that sense or object, I will get a happiness. That's it. But here, I will be able to derive that unlimited happiness within myself. And then the next benefit is what? I will be able to abide in my own true nature. Otherwise, what happens? I'm always abiding in a distorted self, which is the next benefit. This is the highest gain in life because you will transcend all the suffering. You will be, even death, you will be able to face calmly. Then what? You will be able to withstand any tragedies of the life. And finally, what? disassociation from all the sorrow. This is Krishna gives this as a definition of the yoga. If you remember, like Krishna gives a beautiful definition. The yoga means disassociation of the association with all the sorrow. This is the 7 benefits of samadhi or meditation. We talked about this. This is the next topic. Then the next topic after that, it is what exactly is the challenges, right? What are the problems in controlling the mind or in meditation? Arjuna said, meditation is not easy because of the nature of the mind. The first nature is chanchalam. Chanchalam means shaky, right? Changing with respect to time, unsteady, fickle nature of the mind. The mind is designed like that. Then pramadhi, like turbulent, churning, that is the condition of the mind. Meaning then Bhagavad, it is strong. It has strong addictions. And Dridham, it is very difficult to, it's hold on to objects very tightly. This is the problem. Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, pramadhi Bhagavad Dridham. If you remember, that's a beautiful words again. So what is the solution? 2 solutions, Abhyasa and Vairagya. Abhyasa means practice. What are the practices? Everything he said in this chapter. So many practices were given. Karma yoga, self-effort, yogic lifestyle, then all the 7 steps in that preparation, the actual meditation, upasana, all these things continuously practice. And then what? Vairagyam. Don't indulge in anything else. How? By developing the pratipaksha bhavana. Overeating. What is the problem of overeating? Contemplate upon that. And with that understanding, get about that. So with Abhya, Krishna tells it is not very easy. I agree that this controlling the mind is probably the most difficult thing in the world, but it can be controlled. And then finally, Arjuna goes to the final topic, which is called Yoga Prashna. So the topic of meditation is over here. And finally, what is that? If I practice this and if I don't reach the final stage, what is going to happen? Krishna said, like, let's say that I don't get self-realization, but my whole life I'll be investing in karma yoga. I will be following a lifestyle which may not be the most fun lifestyle. Yuktahara, vihara, cheshta, sleep, nidra. It means everything is not contrary to my own wishes usually. I want to eat junky food. I wanted to have a sedentary lifestyle. I want more recreation than it is needed. I want more sleep than I wanted. So this lifestyle is going to not good. So if I don't follow that, what is going to happen? I will not, whatever effort I put in to follow this, I'm cutting a lot of things which I otherwise is fun for the modern world. So if I lose here and lose there, Krishna said, no. Whatever practice you do, it will benefit you, because first thing he said is no effort in the spiritual path will be ever wasted. That's point number 1. It is very true actually. Everything else, because if you remember, Krishna said this practice itself is as good as any noble work. It yields its direct benefit, which is punyam. So it's like doing Vishnu Sahasranama, any other prayer. Second thing is that what happens? You will be in your next birth, you will be provided conducive environment, and you will be buddhi samyogam, that is the word he used. You will be given that spiritual momentum. And we said all of us, I'm sure, might have had some practice in the previous life. And that is why we born. So Krishna finally say, this path of meditation is so glorious that it can help you from everywhere. So tasmat yogi bhava Arjuna. So therefore, be a yogi, because it is going to help you a lot. This is the essence of this chapter. We covered quickly, but it's, if you look at the subject matter of this chapter, this is one of the most beneficial and practical chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So now what we can do is we can do a chanting of the entire chapter, and then after that we can have a Q&A. But please try to learn this chapter. This chapter is not that difficult compared to Upanishads or anything like that. So any questions you have, means happy to answer that. Let's have the clarity. That is very important. More than anything, as we always say, we need clarity. So I know you want to do the chanting, and what we can do is, if you want to share something, that's also fine. If not, also that's fine. We can.
Yeah.
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 You can share if you want. Otherwise, you can chant.
Oh, okay. Just to give me a moment.
No, you can chant directly if you don't have. That's fine.
Yeah, I got it. Just a moment.
Yep.
Are you sharing the screen?
I can share the screen if you want. That's also fine.
No. You want to share? I'm not able to share, so
I can share. I can share. That's fine. So I was
let
thinking.
me ping you the.
No. I have the verses. So let me share.
No, I have it, but it says because you're sharing already, I'm not able to share.
Okay, let me share the screen then. Basic, share the screen.
I have the link on the chat window, so
I put my own thing is there, so that's fine. Yep, you can chat. Everybody can see the screen, right? Yep.
Yeah.
This is Swami Tadatmananda's chanting, meaning verses. This is beautiful.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha Atha Shashtodhyayah Atma Samyama Yogaha Shri Bhagavanuvacha Anashritah Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha Sasanyasi Cha Yogi Cha Naniraknirna Chakriyah Yam Sanyasamiti Prahuhu Yogam Tam Vitti Pandava Nahya Sanyasta Sankalpaha Yogi Bhavati Kaschana Arurukshor Yogam Karma Karanamuchyate Yoga Rudhasya Tasyaiva Shamah Karanamuchyate Yada hinendriyartheshu na karmasvanusajjate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga rudhastadochyate uddharedatmanatmanam natmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu Atmaivaripuraatmanah bandhuratmatmanastasya येनात्मैवात्मना जितः अनात्मनस्तु शत्रुत्वे वर्तेतात्मैव शत्रुवत् जितात्मनः प्रशान्तस्य परमात्मा समाहितः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु तथा मानापमानयोः ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः सुहृन्मित्राद्युदासीनमध्यस्तद्वेष्य बन्धुषु साधुष्वपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते योगी युञ्जीत सततम् आत्मानं रहसि स्थितः एकाकीयत चित्तात्मा निराशीरपरिग्रहः शुचौ देशे प्रतिष्ठाप्य स्थिरमासनमात्मनः नात्युच्छ्रितं नातिनीचं चैलाजिनकुशोत्तरम् तत्रैकाग्रं मनः कृत्वा यतचित्तेन्द्रियक्रियः उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्यात् योगमात्मविशुद्धये समं कायशिरोग्रीवं धारयन्नचलं स्थिरः सम्प्रेक्ष्य नासिकाग्रं स्वं दिशश्चानवलोकयन् प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभीः ब्रह्मचारिव्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तः युक्त आसीत मत्परः युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी नियतमानसः शान्तिं निर्वाणपरमां मत्संस्थामधिगच्छति नात्यश्नतस्तु योगोऽस्ति न चैकान्तमनश्नतः न चातिस्वप्नशीलस्य जाग्रतो नैव चार्जुन युक्ताहारविहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः यदा विनियतं चित्तम् आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा यथा दीपो निवातस्थः नेङ्गते सोपमा स्मृता योगिनो यतचित्तस्य युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः यत्रो परमते चित्तं निरुद्धं योगसेवया यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति सुखमात्यन्तिकं यत्तत् बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियं वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायं स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं ततः यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते तं विद्यात् दुःखसंयोगवियोगं योगसंज्ञितम् स निश्चयेन योक्तव्यः योगो निर्विण्णचेतसा संकल्पप्रभवान् कामान् त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः मनसैवेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य समन्ततः शनैः शनैरुपरमेत् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत् यतो यतो निश्चरति मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरम् ततस्ततो नियम्यैतत् आत्मन्येव वशं नयेत् प्रशान्तमनसं ह्येनं योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम् उपैति शान्तरजसं ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषम् युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा सर्वत्र समदर्शनः यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र सर्वं च मयि पश्यति तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि स च मे न प्रणश्यति सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि स योगी मयि वर्तते आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः अर्जुन उवाच योऽयं योगस्त्वया प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वात् स्थितिं स्थिरां चञ्चलं हि मनः कृष्ण प्रमाथि बलवदृढम् तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम् श्रीभगवानुवाच असंशयं महाबाहो मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम् अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येण च गृह्यते असंयतात्मना योगः दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः वश्यात्मना तु यतता शक्यो वाप्तुमुपायतः अर्जुन उवाच अयति श्रद्धयोपेतः योगाच्चलितमानसः अप्राप्य योगसंसिद्धिं कां गतिं कृष्ण गच्छति कच्चिन्नो भयविभ्रष्टः छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो विमूढो ब्रह्मणस्पथि एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण छेत्तुमर्हस्य शेषतः त्वदन्यः संशयस्यास्य छेत्ता न ह्युपपद्यते श्रीभगवानुवाच पार्थ नैवेह नामुत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते न हि कल्याणकृत् कश्चित् दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वती समाः शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टोऽभिजायते अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमताम् एतद्धि दुर्लभतरं लोके जन्म यदीदृशम् तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते पौर्वदेहिकम् यतते च ततो भूयः संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव ह्रियते ह्यवशोऽपि सः जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु योगी संशुद्धकिल्बिषः अनेकजन्म संसिद्धः ततो याति परां गतिम् तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद् योगी भवार्जुन योगिनामपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना श्रद्धावान् भजते यो मां समे युक्ततमो मतः। ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे आत्मसंयमयोगो नाम षष्ठोऽध्यायः।
You can do the closing prayer also, I know, if you don't mind.
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ